Hi everyone, today we're going to be testing out some new makeup together. We have the new Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, the new Makeup Forever Artist Liquid Paints, and Artist Color Pencils in the Cosmic formula and the original matte formula. We also have this Red Chamber Blush Pot, which I'm really excited to try because it's a C Beauty brand, and I've seen so many people use this on Xiaohongshu, so I want to test it out for myself. We also have this Kate eyeshadow palette. These shades look right up my alley. They're like the perfect neutral brown shades. And we have the new Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer, as well as this Heroine Make Lash Hype Mascara. It's a lot of stuff, so let's get started. I'm gonna begin prepping my lips with this Mentholatum Melty Cream Lip, which is just a clear lip balm. I just wanna make sure my lips are nice and moisturized before we go to the lips later. And then for primer today, I'm going to be using the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder. It's getting a little bit more humid in Hong Kong, so I feel like I need a little help with keeping my skin blurred and matte throughout the day. So I'm putting some across my nose and this front part of my cheeks where my pores are a little bit more visible, as well as my chin, and this top part in between my brows. So we're gonna start with foundation. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup. It has SPF 10 with PA++, and I have the shade 1N1. So actually I went to the event that they had here in Hong Kong. They invited me to celebrate the launch of this foundation, as well as learn more tips about the application process and just their newest launches. And I was actually shade matched there to be 2N1, but in the goodie bag that we were all given, I think we were just given the same shades. So I only have 1N1 and 1C1. 1C1 was way too pink for me, so we're just gonna be using this more neutral shade. It's maybe just a tad light, so let's just hope that it'll still work for my skin, because I feel like as long as the undertones match my skin tone, then it should be okay. So I'm just gonna focus this product on my cheeks here, and then I'm going to blend it out with this big foundation brush from BK Beauty. It's the 101 brush, and I am just going to gently press this and buff it into the skin. I actually never used the original Double Wear foundation because it always just sounded like it'd be too heavy and too much coverage for me. I don't really know that formula in mind to compare this new formula to, but my first impressions is that this foundation is very, very lightweight. It doesn't feel thick at all. It looks very skin-like, and I don't think the coverage is too crazy either. At the event, they explained that the finish of this foundation is in between glowy and matte, so it's going to have a nice satin finish that looks like skin. I also think that because of this, more people can use this foundation because it doesn't matter if you have oily skin or dry skin. The satin finish is a nice in-between finish that anyone can use. So this is what the finish looks like on my skin right now. Very, very skin-like and thin, which I like. Next, we're gonna try this Makeup Forever Artist Liquid Color in Wherever Walnut. I'm gonna put it on the back of my hand here, and then I'm going to mix it in with the leftover foundation that I have. Okay, this color is a little bit more purple than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit more brown, but that's okay. We can use this as a bronzer. And I'm just gonna blend it out on my skin. This color is really pretty. And I think because I mixed it in with the foundation, it blended over the foundation really easily, which is a good sign. I'm gonna pick up a little bit more product and add it to this side. Yeah, this is really pretty. I think I'm gonna need less blush than I thought because this color is pretty blushy already. The shade that we created looks so sun-kissed on the skin. And just for a little bit more color on the apples of my cheeks, I'm gonna use this Red Chamber Multi-Purpose Cream. It's in the shade True May. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit with my blush brush, and I'm just going to add it right here. Ooh, this is actually a very similar shade to the one that we just created, but with a little bit more of a berry tone. That looks so pretty. Okay, so far I'm very impressed with my base. Now for concealer, we're gonna be using this Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Concealer. I used this many, many years ago, but I believe that the formula has been reformulated since. So let's see what I think of it now. I'm just gonna add a little bit where I normally put concealer, which is these spots right here, and then we are going to blend it in. This concealer shade is in 1W, so it's a little bit more yellow toned, but I think it'll be good for canceling out any of the purple tones in my skin, like under my eyes. Yeah, this concealer is playing very well with the other products. The finish is very similar to the foundation, so it's in between matte and glowy, and it has this satiny finish. The shade is quite light, so it definitely helped to brighten up my under eyes. I'm just gonna take the blush brush and go over the area in between my blush and my concealer because I feel like I covered up maybe a little bit too much of the blush and the concealer is quite light. So this is just going to tie everything together. Before we set everything, this is what my skin's looking like. It looks very perfected, but my skin still looks like skin. I definitely don't feel like it looks heavy in any way. Now I'm gonna go in with this Huda Beauty Easy Bake Pressed Powder in the shade Pound Cake. And I'm just going to set my under eyes, this front part of my cheeks and my chin, and also the sides of my jaw. This just keeps everything looking matte and bright. I'm also just gonna add a little bit to my forehead because my forehead gets pretty shiny throughout the day and my base still looks really good. Before we move on to the eyes, I'm going to quickly do my brows. This is always the boring bit because it never changes. I always just define them a little bit and then I brush it out. So for eyeshadow, we have this little eyeshadow palette from Kate Tokyo. These shades are so perfect for every day. I'm gonna use a flat shader brush like this and pick up this lightest shade over here. And I'm just going to blend this all over the lid as a base. I love how the shade has a little bit of warmth to it. It's not too cool toned, so it actually ties pretty well with the blush because I feel like my blush has a very warm, almost terracotta shade running through it, and it's the same with this eyeshadow. I'm also just gonna take a little bit and put it under my eyes as well, like right here. Usually this makes my eyeshadow look a little bit more natural because then it really just looks like a shadow that's running throughout your entire eye instead of just being on your eyelid. Now I'm using a smaller eyeshadow brush to pick up this darker shade, and I'm going to run this right on top of my lash line. This will just help to deepen up the eyes a little bit without it being harsh, just like that. These eyeshadows have a really nice pearly finish to it. So they don't look matte, but they also don't look glittery or shimmery on the eyelids. There's just like a nice soft glow. And then I'm gonna take this lightest shade right here on a pointed pencil brush, tap off the excess, and then I'm going to place it right in the inner corners of my eyes to help brighten it up and add a little bit of luminosity right there. This just helps to open up your eyes and make them look a little bit more awake. That is such a pretty shade. I normally use a very champagne-y, almost light gold shade right there, but this shade has a little bit more of a peachy undertone, so it looks a little bit more pinky, and I feel like that's actually really pretty. Now I'm going to curl my lashes with this heated eyelash curler. And then for mascara, we have this Lash Hype mascara from Heroine make. I mentioned in my Japanese beauty haul that I did on my Instagram that this brand of mascara is one of my favorites ever because they just create the most super waterproof, budge-proof, smudge-proof, flake-proof mascaras that I've tried. And they're my go-to for days when I need my makeup to stay in place and look flawless throughout the day. And this is their new mascara. I hadn't seen it in Hong Kong before my trip to Japan, so I was very, very excited about picking this up. The wand is this plasticky comb. It's only on one side of the brush, so I'm assuming it's all about combing this through your lashes and pushing them up. So let's see how I feel about this. Ooh. So the tip has a little bit of this curve to it, which really allows you to push up your lashes and go for the inner corners and the outer corners of your eyes. Yeah. That makes it super easy. And I'm not gonna get mascara all over my eyelids as I'm applying it. The formula is definitely on the drier side, so it's not a super wet mascara. I do find that most Asian mascaras are a little bit drier because then it's a little bit more easy to control. I feel like wet mascaras usually work a little bit better on people who have naturally longer and thicker lashes. And typical Asian lashes are shorter and maybe more sparse. So I'm just gonna comb this through. This brush is making it really easy to control. Look at how my lashes look. They look so fanned out and fluttery. They're definitely a little bit longer than they normally are. I'm very, very impressed trying this mascara out for the first time. Before we go to the lips, I wanted to add a little bit of highlighter to my cheeks. I know the finish of the foundation and the concealer and a lot of the products we used have more of a satin finish, but I just like a little bit of glow on my cheeks. So I am gonna use this Chanel Balm Essentiel in the shade Cute. And I'm just going to tap this on top of my cheekbones right here. I feel like it just adds life back into the skin, and this is just my favorite way to glow. So for the lips, I'm gonna be recreating a lip look that a makeup artist did on my lips at the Makeup Forever event that I attended, celebrating the launch of these products. I really liked the way that my lips looked that day, and it actually lasted a really long time. So I'm gonna try to recreate it and show you guys exactly how we did it. So we are using the Makeup Forever Cosmic Anywhere Caffeine Lip Liner. Actually, these liners can be used on the eyes, lips, and cheeks. You just have to check the packaging. Yeah, it shows right here, so you can see there's eyes, lips, and cheeks. That means you can use this pencil anywhere on your face. So I'm gonna first line my lips with this lip pencil. We all know and love the Anywhere Caffeine lip liner, but this is the new shade that has a little bit of sparkle to it. It's actually nothing crazy. I think at first when I heard that they were coming out with like a glittery, shimmery version of these lip pencils, I was like, why? But then once I tried them on my lips and also on my eyes, I understood why, because the shimmer is very, very subtle and it's done in such a pretty way. It doesn't look like you're wearing metallic lips or like straight up glitter on your lips. It just looks very, very natural. And there's just like a slight luminosity to it. It's really, really flattering. I'm just gonna fill in a little bit of my lips with this pencil. Do you see how there's a little bit of sparkle? But it's very subtle and I feel like it's not too noticeable. You'll only see it if you're looking for it. And then I'm gonna take this pencil in Total Taupe, which is the cream formula. So there's no shimmer or glitter to this at all. I'm just gonna use it to define my lips further. I'm just adding it to the bottom right here, stamping it across my top, and then I'm gonna define this outer edge a little bit, just like that. And I feel like it adds a little bit more dimension to my lips and makes them look a little bit more pouty. Now for the center of my lips, they used this lip paint from Makeup Forever, which is the Artist Color Liquid Color in Dreamy Pink. This color reminds me of so many of those liquid lipsticks that I used to use back in 2016. It's this perfect mauvey, pinky nude, kind of like the classic Kylie Jenner lip colors from 2016. I'm just gonna paint this on right in the center of my lips and then smush my lips together to blend it out. And this is the finished makeup look. To be very honest with you, I don't think I have anything bad to say about any of the products that I tried today. They all have impressed me so much and I really like my makeup right now. I'll probably add my final thoughts on all the products in the caption below, and I'll include how everything wore on my face throughout the day, just in case anything changes. But so far, I am loving everything. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed everything, and I will speak to you guys soon. Bye!